Mm. Thanks for joining us on our comic book coffee break. I'm Nick Gunning.
I'm Eric Mickles, known online as Dust vs. Tweak.
You had some real swagger when you said that. I liked it. You were like, "I'm." It was nice. You were like a child star for a minute. And it really warmed my heart.
You might remember me from such shows as "That's Not My Dad" and "Beep Beep Goes the Car."
That's the one. It's the second one I remembered you from. Yeah, you were great.
Yeah,
very
thank
precocious.
you. It's sad we had to replace the mom character 3 times.
Yeah, well, drugs.
Yeah.
I'm drinking Yuban coffee, Eric, with a little cream and some Irish cream syrup.
All right, well, you've been coffee. I've been Eric Mickles.
Oh, all this and jokes.
Cars? Is that Cars 1 or Cars 2?
Well, that's a good question. I think it just says Cars, but this is clearly a Cars 2 character. Now, Eric, you've mocked me for my soft spot for the Cars franchise for many years.
Uh-huh.
I actually think that it may have started with this mug.
Oh my gosh.
I got this mug at a yard sale when they were like throwing things out, and I was like, oh, I'll take that little mug because I like the size. But gosh darn it, if these little anthropomorphic cars don't just warm my heart.
I'm just drinking water because I've been in the car all day.
Wow.
So I'm rehydrating.
What's a bathroom break situation like when you're traveling in a pandemic? You hold it?
No,
you Gatorade bottle?
I went into the Wendy's with the mask and the hand sanitizer. It's stressful. It's one of those things where like, oh, I guess I'm getting it.
Man, I'll tell you what. One of the things that I miss, like I rarely miss meat, but when I think about getting like a spicy chicken sandwich or like trying those spicy nuggets, that's the time when I think, oh, I would like that. Did you get a Frosty and or a spicy nugget, spicy chicken situation?
No, I just got the chicken nuggets. Sorry.
Okay. Were they weren't even spicy?
No, they weren't even spicy.
Oh.
As soon as I got in, but as soon as we picked up the new car, I was like, no, rule number 1, no one's eating or drinking in Mom's new car. But then I had Wendy's, so I made the rule and broke the rule. So I was like,
well, I mean,
I was authoritative in rebellion.
Are you Mom in that situation?
Yeah.
Well, Mom's allowed to eat.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Mom, she trusts herself. She doesn't trust you. So.
When I think about... Yeah, that's it.
You really had me on the hook there. I thought something was coming after that long well in the pause, but there was nothing there after it. Eric, did you know this show's brought to you by the Radio Meanwhile Network?
Yeah, you can find more about the show like at our network's website, radiomeanwhile.com.
Huh. I'm hearing that for the first time.
Are you?
That's interesting. Can I tell you a little behind-the-scenes radiomeanwhile.com story?
Mm-hmm.
Recently, we were recording season 4, episode 4 of Beverly Hills 90210. We were covering that for 902, and here we go. It was a good episode. We finished it. There was a lot of chatter. We had a good time. We were just sort of chatting afterwards, and there was an unfortunate situation where the computer shut down before the file was like fully saved. So we have to start from scratch.
Yeah, been there.
That's a hard place to be because for me, I'm like, even though no one will ever hear the things I said, I don't want to repeat the same jokes. Like I hate that. That's so stale. So I don't know what's gonna happen.
Lost episodes. I have failed to hit record.
Yeah.
During episodes, I have I have seen the good and the bad times of podcast recording. And you know what? I was kind of there. I was in the bath reading a book, and in comes the wife saying, "Oh no, I lost the file. What do I do?" I was like, first, turn down the Jerry Seinfeld impression. So she's like, "What's the deal with the video recording?"
I press record. You press record. We all press record.
It's not all on an iPod. Why do we still call it podcasts? Band-Aid's a brand, not...
That's true. Band-Aid is a brand. That's something. Kleenex is another one. I always say Kleenex. I never say, can I have a tissue? Can I have a tissue? I never say that.
Why don't we call them mini radio dramas?
The pause and then drama, I think, really...
There was somebody online that did a bit of Jerry Seinfeld, but if he was dating a 17-year-old.
Oh.
And it's just him talking about like how annoying.
Didn't Jerry Seinfeld marry a 17-year-old?
Is that true? It was just him. He's like, "Why are girlfriends so young? What's up with prom? I already went to a prom. I'm a prom as a date and a chaperone. That's 2 proms." So it was very funny. He just came out and it's like girlfriends always talk about homework. It's always home with them. Homework, homework.
It's funny. I just finished season 10 of Curb Your Enthusiasm, and it's funny to see like the Seinfeldisms that Larry David, like the things that they have in common. Sometimes it's like, oh, that's so Seinfeld. That's funny to see.
Yeah,
but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, those aren't comic books.
They're not, but we should talk
Get
comic
the
books.
hell
Don't
out
you
of
think?
here, Jerry Seinfeld info.
Mr. Salty talk over there.
Whoa.
Gee.
Goodreads is like, what is this? Mother by nature, killer by choice, the Eye for an Eye trilogy, just filling up this screen. Goodreads is all ads today. Oh, it's an Amazon. Well, of course. Yes, never mind.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, of course it is.
So what were you saying?
I was just saying, let's talk comic books. That's all
Okay.
I was going to say.
Yeah.
This is going to be delightful for me because yours half of the doc isn't filled in, so I don't have any idea what you're going to say.
Hey,
No, it's
if
okay.
it helps, I've been up since 6 a.m., so we'll see.
Yes, I have a kindergarten-age child. I'm up from 6 a.m. every single day.
Kids.
What do you like about that?
I don't like it.
Yeah, that's a fair warning.
I had to go over to somebody's house, let their dogs out. Where are we going? Where are we starting? I have 4 things to talk about.
You got 4 things? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then let me start.
Okay.
Because I got a few more than that.
All right.
We talked about this on our Dinovember episode of the All the Book Show, so some of this, Eric, you've heard before. But I want to dig a little deeper into Devil Dinosaur by Jack Kirby. I read the Devil Dinosaur Omnibus by one Jack Kirby.
He's so red.
Yes. This is a 9-issue series. And, as of late, I've been reading a lot of Jack Kirby stuff. Jimmy Olsen, New Gods, Eternals, Challenges of the Unknown. So I've been all over the place with this stuff. I love to look at the books. I love Jack Kirby art. And
You know what you're talking about.
I know. But, honestly, there's nothing that I've really read so far that I'm like, yes, this was a very well-written series. Don't even get me started on how bad the Jimmy Olsen series is. Devil Dinosaur is slowly, creeping its way into my heart, even after I read it. It's it's so pleasant. It's so fun. So this is, like I said, it's 9 issues. It concludes. I mean, it in the last issue, you sort of finish something that had been happening, and it's and that's the end of Devil Dinosaur for now. So there's at least a panel in there that's sort of we're done for now, which I didn't get in Robert Kirkman's Super Dinosaur, as you'll recall. That ends on a complete cliffhanger. But this is just about Moon Boy, who rescues. He's a member of the Small Folk tribe. Everybody looks like Planet of the Apes, extras. Right. Okay, so there's Moon Boy, who rescues Devil Dinosaur from the Killer Folk. That's the other tribe.
Yeah. And
he's irradiated or something. So he's
what? Yeah, that happens.
He doesn't talk. He's not oh, hey, Moon Boy, it's me, Devil Dinosaur. But, he's clearly got more going on than just a straight up animal. And the rest of the series is them just sort of chilling around, just roaming in this prehistoric world. And each one, they're running into a little bit of trouble. Sometimes it's the Killer Folk, sometimes it's other people. I find most of
other people, yeah.
That's the truth. Have you read any of the stuff Kirby's written?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't think so.
It's the imagery, especially in the cosmic stuff, is just so compelling that you can get through a lot of dialogue that's clunky. And I feel like most of the things, New Gods, Mr. Miracle, a lot of this stuff is pretty overwritten, I think. It's too much, especially when the imagery is so evocative. You can let that do some of the talking. I feel like the Eternals does a decent job of that, finding the right balance. But I really feel like Devil Dinosaur is the best thing that I've read from as a Kirby written thing. Devil Dinosaur is my favorite. And I know this era of comics, you don't read a ton of these, but I really think that I'd be interested to hear what
the 60s?
Oh, you're giving me so much attitude. Late 70s.
Oh, I just haven't. I mean, that's the X-Men. That's where Chris Claremont starts writing the X-Men. So I guess that's really where the Marvel universe started for me. So that makes sense. Yeah.
Well, okay.
I don't know who else I followed into there.
The distinction I guess I'm trying to make there is that I have a soft spot for 70s comics. That's my quarter bin is all 70s comics. Yeah. So it's not weird that I would read
That's
this.
True. Reading the Marvel monster books were my first foray. I'm gonna get a puppet out, okay, and that's gonna help me for the rest of the episode. Okay. So I think that really was the first. Anyway, but you have a soft spot for that.
I do.
Tell us, Nick.
Oh, look at that nice little puppet.
What's the soft spot you have for this? What's that about?
It's just a pleasant adventure story, and I think your love of dinosaurs would make this one work for you. So I'm gonna suggest that you read Devil Dinosaur by Jack Kirby.
All right, recommendation Filed away! Here, move my hand. Filed away!
I love prop comedy.
I love puppet comedy.
I know you do.
Oh.
So after these 9 issues, Devil he pops up occasionally, like in Marvel's Godzilla series in '79.
Yeah, I knew that. I think that's actually where I first saw him, because he wasn't really around anywhere. Like, this isn't... He's not a character, I think, transferred to the Eternals? You didn't see
Devil is in the Eternals?
No, I mean, you read Jack Kirby's Eternals, right?
I have, yeah.
And Devil Dinosaur wasn't in there, right?
Not in the... I've only read, like, volume 1. I've read the first half of the issues.
I think I only knew about him because of maybe the Godzilla stuff, and it would show up in, like, Wizard Magazine.
Okay. So he pops up here and there, and it's not until, like, 2015, 2016, when Devil Dinosaur has another book that's dedicated to him. And that leads right into the fact that I read Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, volume 1, BFF. This is by Amy Reeder and Natasha Busto is doing the art. This is a very different kind of series. It's set in the modern day.
Yeah.
Set in the modern day, and it's about a little girl who is like a super genius. She is also... Lunella is her name. The kids call her Moon Girl. She is also has the Inhuman gene and is devoting all of her time trying to, like, stop herself from mutating when the Terrigen Mist comes. So that's the setup for this story. She goes and she finds this orb, and it accidentally, like, opens a portal to, like, the Devil Dinosaur world. And so we see Moon Boy and we see Devil Dinosaur again, and we see the Killer Folk. And what happens is Devil and the others get pulled to the future. Moon Boy is, like, left in the past. And this kind of happened in the Kirby issues. In one of the final books, a portal opens up and Devil gets stuck in 1970s Nevada. And so this has happened. But in the new series, Devil ends up staying, and the Killer Folk are like, we don't want to go back there. That sucks. And so they just kind of, like, start figuring out life in the new world and just go around causing trouble for people. This is at the point where Amadeus Cho is the Hulk. Right. And so the Hulk shows up and is like, we got to get this dinosaur under control. And Lunella is... do you want to spoiler tag this?
Okay.
I mean, I don't think it's a huge thing, but if you're reading this, it just has to do with the Terrigen Mist and all that. So Lunella is trying to, like, break Devil out, and they're trying to work together. At the end of this, are we safe, can I say?
Yeah, I got the spoiler tag up.
Okay. At the end of this, the Terrigen Mist does come, and she's just trapped. There's nothing she can do,
and
she didn't have time. She didn't have time to solve it anymore. And it comes sooner than expected. So she's caught up there, and we see the big mist. And then the next panel, there's just an egg where she was. And Devil finds the egg and cuddles up with it, basically. And it's to be continued. So I haven't picked up the next volume. But eventually the art's taken over by Aletha Martinez, who you and Hillary interviewed over on previously on X-Men, and I talked to her on the All the Book Show. And we did actually talk about Devil Dinosaur in that interview. So you can find that at soundcloud.com/allthembooks. That's all the book.
That dinosaur is the devil.
So that's the dinosaur-related Marvel titles that I read. What about you? What's on your reading list this week?
Speaking of dinosaurs, I read Frank Miller's new book. Dark Knight Returns, The Golden Child. It's like 96 pages, so it's an original to graphic novel comic.
Yeah.
I hated it.
That's sad.
It's set 3 years after the Master Race series.
Why do you do that anyway?
Lara is there, and so is the Superman's son, son they have. But Lara's, like, terrible, and the son's super annoying. And Frank Miller just writing... Frank Miller writing anymore. How have we not taken away all his number 2 pencils 20 years ago? I mean, it's following, like, Carrie Kelly, and, like, so there's riots during this political thing, but it's like Frank Miller thinks he's being funny or coy by, like, referring to, like, oh, Trump is an idiot. And so, like, because, like, it's during the Trump election and everything, and
I don't want to,
but, like, so it's set in the real world ish politically, but also Darkseid is there, and he's kind of the problem. But it's one of these things where it's like he's making fun of the protesters for being violent, but then all the characters are being excessively violent, and everything Frank Miller's ever done has been excessively violent. True. And it just kind of seems like Frank Miller doesn't understand anything about anything anymore. He's just like this old codger who, I don't know. I don't understand what this is. I don't understand who this is for. It's just for him. I don't understand why DC greenlit this. I don't understand why they read it and were like, yeah, put this out. I guess maybe they figured Frank Miller's name on a Dark Knight thing is gonna get them a couple of bucks. But this isn't the Black Label, so I don't understand what the. I mean, I just don't get it. I don't get why DC doesn't seem to care about quality or preservation of anything anymore. And I mean, this is coming from a Marvel fan, and Marvel will put out 80 books if one book sells. Like, oh, X-Men sells quick. Jubilee needs her own title. Crap, I would read a Jubilee title. The point is that, like, Marvel is always doing this stuff, and I always kind of thought, like, DC had a little bit higher quality control with this stuff. But these days, no, it doesn't seem like that at all. With Watchmen and this crap. Yeah. And like DC, the Black Label is supposed to be like a prestige line. And if this crap is in there, then what's prestige about this? I could go take a crap right now, fold it in a book, and hand it to you, and DC Black would print it.
What a gross image.
I know it's a gross image, but it's not it's a lateral image compared to this book. I don't get it. I don't get what Frank Miller is trying to do. I don't get what DC's trying to do. I found this to be exhausting at 96 pages.
Is it on the app, or did you have to?
No, I don't think it is on the app. I got this at the library. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, cool. I just don't know. Like, and I like Carrie Kelly, but she's like beating the crap out of these protesters, and the protesters seem to be against Trump, but he's also like making fun of Trump and like doing characters of his face, and so it's like, well, who are you? What are you saying? I guess he's trying to. I'm sure Frank Miller thinks he's a centralist, but he's an idiot actually. So anyway, I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Okay,
unless you want to.
No, I mean, it's not that I want to talk about it. I guess what I want to talk about is that I thought it was a terrible idea to revisit this world anyway. And I was never one that was like really into the Dark Knight Returns. I mean, it was always a little on the dark side for me. But I found myself like pleasantly surprised by more recent stuff like Last Crusade and even Master Race. I thought Master Race kind of redeemed the wackiness of the second book.
Master Race was stronger, and I think Brian Azzarello had a hand in that, which
he did, yeah.
I don't care for Brian Azzarello in the Bat universe ever, but I guess maybe the two negatives formed a positive in the end there.
Yeah, I guess I just feel like that was, like, they shouldn't have done it, but then they did it and it actually kind of worked, so they really should have just left it alone. So to have something that's set after that is confusing to me, but here's the thing, I kind of do want to read it.
Oh my gosh! You want to read this? All right, go visit your family during Thanksgiving and ask them about what they think about everything that's been going on for this year.
I'm not.
But then imagine them dressed as Supergirl, Darkseid, and Batgirl or Batwoman, and then you'll get the experience.
Right. I don't want to read that, and now I don't want to read anything ever again. Thanks to that crap you just said.
Sorry. No, I really did not like this. So, I guess it's my fault. I knew it couldn't be good.
I can't believe you read it, honestly.
I guess there's this part of me that hates myself. I mean, I don't guess. I know there's this part of me that it's a very big part that hates myself. But there's also this. It just happens. Like, oh well, it says Dark Knight Returns, so I got to read it. I got to be a completist. Sometimes, I mean, that's the thing.
I suffer that fate.
We want to be completists, and then it takes all the joy out of it because we were reading all this crap.
Yes, anyway. It does. Yep. All right, I'm going to finish out what I read with Marvel with Red Hulk, Mayan Rule by Jeff Parker and Dale Eaglesham.
Hey, this isn't the last red-themed thing. You got another one that has a very red cover coming up. You had a very red reading week. That's it.
You're right. You're right. So this was funny to me because, as you recall, when I got the Marvel app, it was to read the rest of this Red Hulk story that I started 10 years ago.
Yeah, Marvel couldn't believe it.
I know, they were shocked. They were like, "Wow, we actually sold something based on Hulk." Okay, but this is the end. This is the last of that line. So this is the last of the Red Hulk stories. The numbering continues with Red She-Hulk, and there's 2 volumes of Red She-Hulk. So the numbering kind of continues, but this is really the conclusion of that that run that started with the Jeff Love Ed McGuinness stuff forever ago. And it actually it ends pretty strong. It's not really an ending in any way. It's just an adventure story.
Right.
And it is, I mean, they go to Mayan ruins, and like Mayan gods, including Kublai Khan, like comes and tries to like suck out their life force.
Did you call Kublai Khan Kugler Khan?
I said Kublai Khan.
Who's that?
That's what it says. Kukulan.
Oh, all right. Sorry.
All
It's
right.
like Nick doesn't know how to say Kublai Khan. But
Well, I thought it was Kublai Khan too, but it
must have been there were a bunch of Khans.
Kublai Khan.
I
Okay.
should have.
Different
Yeah.
one.
Your favorite one is just Khan. It's just singular Khan. That's the end of the line.
Yes, in the
As
animated
played by
series,
Benedict Cumberbatch.
No, in Star Trek the animated series, though, there is a whole episode where they go against Kublai Khan.
Ooh, all right.
So it does happen. But listen,
Uh-huh.
this is not like and now the Red Hulk story concludes. It just happens to be the last.
Right.
And there's a little end note that's like, we're going to keep going with Red She-Hulk, and now Red Hulk is going to be in another book, which I am assuming is Thunderbolts?
If that's how the timeline works out, he did take over the Thunderbolts line.
Okay, because it didn't say what it was in the back of this. It said it was Jeff Parker writing it, and he's like, Red Hulk is going to continue in a series that I've had something to do with. But it didn't say what it was. So.
Huh.
And at first I thought maybe it was Alpha Flight, because he did write an Alpha Flight, and Alpha Flight was who Red Hulk was teamed up with in this one. So I thought maybe it was going to be a Red Hulk Alpha Flight book, which I would have been all about, because I actually kind of like Alpha Flight.
So Jeff Parker did write Thunderbolts, and it's a great run. I love that run, but that is not the run that has Red Hulk in. So I guess he was just being coy. Like, I did once write Thunderbolts.
Okay. Well, this is just a decent... It's what I like about the Red Hulk book. Like, it's nothing too deep. It's just a big Hulk and the Alpha Flight go to these Mayan ruins, rescue some tourists, and then like get into a big rumble with Mayan gods. The end.
Yeah,
it was fun.
I've been reading Yulk. It's a Yellow Hulk.
Yellow Hulk.
Yeah.
Isn't there a Yellow Hulk now?
Oh,
I think there is.
Maybe. And A-Bomb is like the Blue Hulk.
Yes.
Because he's supposed to be Abomination, so he calls himself A-Bomb. Ugh.
Yeah. This has lots of Hulks in it. It has She-Hulk, and it has the newer She-Hulk, Lyra, and it does have A-Bomb, and yeah.
What's the son's name? Sakaar.
Yeah.
Or just Scar.
I'm not really a fan of his stuff, but anyway, pour one out for the Red Hulk series. This is the end, and it.
Oh, my keyboard!
I had a good time with it. So, yeah. I think it's fun. Yeah. I think even if you haven't really read Red Hulk, you could just pick this up and read it. It's a good time. All right, what about you? What do you got?
So you remember last week I was talking about how Invincible's art is usually like just so fun and colorful, and like kind of being impressed that it never switched an artist. And in the Ultimate Collection, Volume 11 of Invincible, they do switch artists.
Really?
I believe the regular artist comes back, but for like a story arc, there's the artist who maybe originally was on this, and I do not remember that at all. But I hated it. I hated that new art. Made it hard to read.
Remember.
He has this like Steamboat Willie Disney kind of style, and I did not care for it at all. Yeah, everybody has like those little like lines in their eyes, and that like the Steamboat style has. And yeah, I mean this one has there's some time travel. Invincible is basically realizing he can choose to like relive everything and make and do everything differently this time, or he can not. So there's some of that. There's things that are basically just leading up. They're still living on an alien planet. So it really is just kind of like setting the stage. I mean, you can't set a plate. I mean, Gordon Ramsay believes presentation is very important when you're handing out a plate. But it's setting the stage. Table. Yeah, you could set a table. They're definitely setting the table, if you will. And if you're doing a play with a table, you've got to set that table and maybe put some things on that plate. Like if you're doing Father of the Bride.
Yeah.
There's a whole breakfast scene.
You got to have food.
Yeah.
I always feel that when people are on stage and they're pouring a drink or they're eating and it's just fake, I hate it.
I'm pretty sure you put like bacon when you directed Father of the Bride, and I did that. Like the bacon was a little too crispy, and I remember like choking it back, trying to get through it, and like drinking the water on stage because the dry bacon, it was killing me on stage.
Yeah. Well, I'll let my wife know that you don't appreciate her breakfast cooking. We'll make sure that she's aware of that.
Anyway, I didn't love this volume, and mainly because I didn't like the art, but I've got the last volume, so I'll be finishing Invincible this week.
Oh, you're that close to the end?
It's Ultimate Collection 12.
Huh.
Is the last one.
Okay.
So
I love how the not the ultimate collections or the compendium, but the individual like trades that collect whatever, 6-7 issues, all have names of sitcoms.
Oh, that's fun.
Which I think is funny.
Yeah, these are just called Ultimate Collection Volume 11. Yeah. Less fun.
Yep, that's sad. That's sad.
So yeah, next episode I'll be talking about the end of a series that I started in like 2007.
Yeah, that's exciting, though.
Yeah.
Now you can finally read Adam, Eve, and Rexplode. You can finally read Science Dog. I can mail it to you. Say the word. I'll put it in the mail.
Science Dog, Science Dog, Science Dog!
All right, DC Comics. Here's some things I read. One of these, you have been on my jock about reading this. for a full decade, I want to say.
No.
But I finally read Batman 66.
Not because I have any horse in this race.
By Kevin Smith and Ralph Garman with art by Ty Templeton. You were saying you were a horse racer?
No, I didn't want you to read this because I care either about Batman 66 or Green Hornet. It's because you've read...
You care about me?
You read all of Kevin Smith's Green Hornet, and then the Green Hornet that read after that, and you've read all of the Batman 66 comics, and then I was like, well, there's a comic where these two connect. You're like, no, I'm going to read Batman 66 meets Planet of the Apes. I'm going to read Green Hornet meets Seabiscuit.
All right.
Wait a second. I think that horse could beat War Hero, whatever that horse was.
There's a couple of flaws in the things that you just said. Yes, I read Kevin Smith's Green Hornet, and I also read the Kato spinoff, and I read some other Green Hornet things that are out there. Yes. Okay, yes. But I actually haven't read all of Batman 66.
No.
I read Batman 66 and Wonder Woman 77 team up, and I think maybe I read just one volume of Batman 66. But that was really the holdup. I was going to read that series, and I didn't want to jump in with Batman 66 and Green Hornet. But finally, I was like, there's a global pandemic, Nick. Just read it. So I did.
Nick, finding the light in the darkness here.
Yeah. I ordered this from the Secret Stash. I got a hardcover from
Does he sign it?
Secret Stash. It is signed, yeah. Yeah,
wow.
It's a cool hardcover, and it's signed right on the cover, so it looks cool. I liked it. And I actually was saving this to read on Election Day, and I didn't get to it.
Yeah.
I didn't get to it.
Yeah.
So I read it afterwards. But no, 2 thumbs up. I mean, we talked about this on the All the Book Show the other day, but they do a good job of tying the two series together, because I think they do crossover. There's an episode where they cross over, and it seems like that should work. But the thing is, the Green Hornet series is 100% serious.
Right.
It's not meant to be campy or funny at all. And so it's a weird vibe.
And also, Kato is so far out of Robin's league.
Yes.
In terms of being
absolutely
a parallel, whatever I'm trying to say. I need the puppet again. Yeah.
I don't know if this is true, but I read this forever ago that in that episode, Robin was supposed to beat Kato, and Bruce Lee was like, no. That is a no. That's a no from Bruce Lee. And so they don't actually, I think Batman does.
What if Robin is played by Brad Pitt?
Well, maybe, sure. Maybe that'd be all right. Yeah, but I mean, the bottom line is here, it's a good time. It's a good time.
You didn't say it here, but on All the Book Show, you said it's funny because it has to blend the Green Hornet seriousness with the Batman goofiness, which I feel like, unless you are aware of Batman 66 in general, seems like a crazy thing to say. If somebody only knows these characters from the movies, it's Green Hornet's the Seth Rogen film. Right, and when has there ever been a goofy Batman in the last 20 years, except for Brave and the Bold? And even that can play it pretty straight. So,
well, it's such a weird thing for them to do. When you look back at the series, there's a reason why the Batman one is so revered, and the Green Hornet is a footnote and mostly known because it crossed over with Batman. And it's because
also Bruce Lee.
Well, sure, yeah. But I mean, the shows look very similar. They share a narrator.
Mm-hmm.
Their production design is very similar. So to have Green Hornet not be campy at all is just so confusing.
Did
Like, if you try to watch it now, it's just very strange.
Did Batman have a radio show? Like Superman and
Yeah.
Hornet? He did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, Paul
So
B.
anyway, this was a good time. This was a good time.
Well, next you have to read Batman 66 meets Full House.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is
No.
That's not real.
Oh.
But there is a Batman 66 meets a Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Ah,
and there's Wonder Woman 77 meets Bionic Woman.
Yeah.
I haven't read those.
Okay.
I've not read those.
All right.
What about you? What else is on your list this week?
Yeah. I read Green Hornet meets Green Hornet the movie.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. He's like, what the hell's happened to me? Seth Rogen?
I could rewatch that movie. I can see that again. I haven't seen it since.
Dare you? Yeah, it's funny now when you look at it. It's like, oh, right, Christopher Waltz is the villain, and now he's a name.
You're right.
Yeah,
yeah, he is. That's funny.
I read The Magic Order by Mark Miller. With all things Mark Miller, your mileage might vary depending on how you feel about Mark Miller and his stories.
Do you have some sort of contractual obligation that you have to say your mileage may vary in every episode?
Yes, Nick. It's a very helpful phrase.
I just want to know for
your
sure.
mileage might vary. Brought to you by BP.
No. Hey,
BP. If you want to lose your coral reefs, get BP.
Kevin Smith is making a Green Hornet animated series.
Well, he's got so much Green Hornet unfinished business.
I guess.
Kevin Smith is a man of unfinished business.
That's true. You know, I was listening to him on. I'm part of the Kevin Smith Club, and there was like a Q&A thing, and somebody was asking him about like the third of his Batman books, Batman Bellicosity, which is like been coming since like 2010, and he was like, "Look, here's some art. It's really happening. So we'll see. We'll see if that goes."
Hey, I said your mileage may vary on this week's on the next episode of 90s Music's Got Me Like.
Did you?
Yeah.
Well,
anyway,
you said it on the All the Book Show this week too.
Yeah, I like it.
I lost what I was going to ask you. I guess I was going to ask you if you read The Widening Gyre and the other one. They're good, don't you think? I mean, the art's atrocious, but I actually was kind of into the story.
Super unfinished business again.
You're right.
Anyway, I say that because like if you I can't think of I haven't read a Mark Miller comic in a while that I think would change your mind on him. Huck was very good, and I feel like you could give Huck to somebody who's maybe a bit jaded on Mark Miller's stories.
Yeah.
And anyway, this one, the art is Oliver or it's what is it if it's Vier? That's
Olivier.
Yeah, it's Olivier Copiel. Who, gosh, what art did they do? I want to say Thor, the J.M. Straczynski Thor? No. Yes, they did. Yeah. And the Spider-Verse storyline. So you've probably read stuff with the artist here.
Maybe.
It follows like a family that they're all like wizards. So, but also it's kind of like a seedy underground. So like it's sold as like Harry Potter meets The Sopranos. It's not really that. It's just kind of about this evil sorceress wanting to take control of. She wants this book, and so she's killing some people, and it's up to the three father and his three kids to stop it. Some of them have sad backgrounds. I think it's supposed to be more. This was published by Netflix because they bought like the Mark Miller verse, the Millerverse.
Right. Yeah.
It was published in like 2018 or 2019 was the graphic novel. I think they were going ahead with the series, but then coronavirus happened, and so they put it on they stopped it. They canceled it, but I think they said they want to return to it. I would imagine.
Oh, okay.
If you went this far to like have Mark Miller create all this stuff, you would want to go back to that at some point.
Yeah, I would think so.
So yeah, this is a hard one to suggest. I don't think it really, like, I liked Chrononauts because it was so ridiculous and dumb. It was the bros Back to the Future,
right?
And I liked Huck because it kind of had this old school Superman vibe and all this other stuff. I guess, not being related to his politics and stuff since I'm across the pond.
Yes.
I tend to just read Mark Miller because he does kind of fit in this unique, like, blockbustery, big. You don't have to commit or think too hard. You can just kind of enjoy the ride.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit better. He's more talented than what's the director's name that we all hate?
I don't know.
Transformers, Michael Bay.
Oh, Bay.
Bay. He's not as his stuff isn't as dumb as Michael Bay's stuff, but it is always just kind of like he cares more about like making something fun and exciting or going for like crude humor or ultra violence rather than like, does it make sense that this car can go 170 miles an hour and these people have their top down and they're, I don't know. I was interested in this, but it wasn't as exciting as some of the other stuff. But I checked out a whole bunch of Mark Miller books that I hadn't read. Wow. So I'll be back with that. And I'll say things like your mileage may vary. Or as it's said here in the chat, Miller mileage may modulate. Oh, now I didn't finish that before I read it out loud. Yeah. Nikki, you going to read this?
I don't think so.
You might like Chrononauts, though.
I might read Chrononauts. Yeah, I'm not against that.
Yeah.
I did read a couple things that I didn't like. Would you like to hear about the things I didn't like this week?
I would love that.
Things I didn't like. Number 1, Yo Mama.
Hey.
No. Yo Mama bought me that Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends DVD set, so I'm forever in her debt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I read Teen Titans Beast Boy.
Hey, before you... No, keep going. Sorry.
No, I'm right here. I'm here.
No, finish it. Finish what you're saying.
I read Teen Titans Beast Boy by Cami Garcia and Gabrielle Piccolo.
Right. Cami Garcia wrote...
Raven.
The Raven one. Okay, so she's just tackling like the Teen Titans YA graphics.
Yeah, and the next one is Beast Boy and Raven as a team up.
Oh.
The Raven one I think is really good. Have you read that one?
Mm-mm. But I have heard good things about it, and from people who don't read that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think it really works for that.
Mm-hmm.
The art's good, the story's good. Raven, I guess, is just a more interesting character than Beast Boy, like a not powered Beast Boy. Most of this comic, I really think the issue here is that he's just not an interesting character. He's not presented as an interesting character. He's just like, a white high school bro, just like living his life. There's nothing really interesting about it. And towards the end, there's like a thing with animals being tested on and him like letting some of the animals loose and stuff, and it's just like, that's a plot line from 1992. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
So I found this to be like, it looked good, it was fiercely boring. So, and even when we finally get to the end, when he's, we sort of get into some of the Beast Boy origin and we see a little bit of a change, very, very minimal Beast Boy turning into an animal. I mean, very little. I think
that's
maybe
the characters. Yeah.
I think maybe it happens once. So, like, if you want to read about a high school kid who cares about animals and lives a normal life, then 90% of this book is for you. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll probably read.
Why wouldn't you read the Animorphs then?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I'd probably read Beast Boy and Raven, like the third volume here. I mean, I'm 2 in.
Did you like Archie Sabrina?
Yeah.
That crossover? I don't know. I'm just comparing the two because she's a wizard and he's a regular guy, and now she's a wizard and he's a regular guy.
Yeah, you're right. That Archie and Sabrina actually is really good. And the second volume of both of those series, the Sabrina standalone series and the Archie series, should have been out already, I think, but still coming out. So I'm looking forward to those. And I'm still looking forward to Beast Boy and Raven, even though I thought this Beast Boy was very skippable and very dull. Yeah,
they're so inconsistent these days with who's a Teen Titan. It'd be hard to figure out what they would cover next. I guess Starfire is safe, but like, which Robin would they do if they were to do a Robin?
Right.
And Cyborg is a Justice League member by default these days.
Pretty much,
he's not going to be in there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Who's Kid Flash anymore? So.
Yeah, it is a little confusing. I mean, I guess I would go classic. I think Jericho would make a good one. I think if you dug a little deeper into the roster, you might find some things. But like, I wouldn't really care about a Wonder Girl one. I guess if you did the the Cassie version of Wonder Woman. You could do a little bit with that. That's interesting. But you know what? While we're talking about Wonder Woman, I'm just going to get this one out here because I got nothing to say about it.
Red cover.
Wonder Woman Volume 6, Children of the Gods by James Robinson and Steven Segovia.
How do you have nothing to say about this? Darkseid's on the cover, just like he was in my stupid Dark Knight book.
It's so stupid. Look, this Rebirth Wonder Woman, this is the one that started where even issues were an origin story and odd issues were like the modern day.
Yeah.
It was so convoluted. Volume 5 was the one that Shea Fontana wrote. We interviewed Shea Fontana over on the All the Book show. We talked about that one a little bit. What was nice there was that she was kind of brought in. I sort of feel like while they were winding down the other ongoing thing before they were settling into something. So Shea's story was really standalone and was good. It was just a mellow, interesting Wonder Woman story. This one, I guess it depends. Let me ask you this. Do you care about Wonder Woman's brother, Jason?
Like, of the Argonauts?
Maybe, sure.
I didn't know she had a brother.
Okay. Do you care about Darkseid's daughter?
I don't know. Who's his daughter? No, I don't care about these characters.
Yeah. It was more a story about them. A lot of things like
who's his daughter?
I don't know.
Is it Lashina?
A lot of things, I don't know. A lot of things tying into the Dark Knight's Metal storyline.
Oh, yeah. You aren't liking that.
Well, I just could not. I'd have to really put some time and effort into caring about the Dark Knight's Metal thing. So I'm always sad when it pops into the regular thing. But Wonder Woman just didn't get a lot to do in this, really. And like, there was some stuff with this brother figure, and it just was not interesting to me. And it's not going to make an impact. It's not like Wonder Woman has a brother now going forward. That's not going to be a thing, you know. So it's just like, what are we doing?
Was the daughter Stampa?
Steve, I don't think so. Also, Steve Trevor is such a bro in this. He called her Angel at one point, and I was just like,
he does though.
I don't like it.
Okay.
I didn't like it. I don't even know if I'm going to read Volume 7 because it continues the story with Darkseid's daughter, and that was just
it's so important, though.
What do you do with Wonder Woman? Can I ask you that? What do you think? Like, because the storylines with Wonder Woman that go like way, 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 way deep into like mythology, I'm just like, no thanks.
That's the George Perez stuff, right? John Burt. That's the stuff I liked.
Okay, I had to tap out of that eventually. It was just too much. So I don't really know. I mean, I guess I just don't really know what the solution is with Wonder Woman, because it's like, if you don't acknowledge the Paradise Island stuff at all, then it seems kind of strange. But like going too heavy into it, I think it's a hard balance. And she's just such a great character. I mean, you watch the movie, and like clearly there's plenty to do with Wonder Woman.
But what's a movie?
Oh yeah, no, I don't even remember. Do you think they're gonna do? I keep hearing that they're still maybe gonna put Wonder Woman 84 in theaters in December and then just kind of let it hit streaming afterwards. Do you think that's true?
I don't plan or think about things that are happening 2 days from now. So
okay.
A lot of my days are just spent like, will I be able to sleep tonight?
Will you?
Well, it depends if I get on Twitter or not.
Okay, so don't do that.
I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know how or when we're ever gonna see 1984. Honestly, at this point, I feel like not only was Sonic the Hedgehog the last movie I saw in theaters, it might be the only movie I've ever seen in theaters.
Could be.
I'm starting to think I never saw a movie in theaters besides Sonic the Hedgehog.
You know what? Speaking of Wonder Woman, I just remembered I've been reading the single issues that are coming out of the digital first series, Wonder Woman, something of Peace, Warrior of Peace. I don't know. The Superman one's been great. The Wonder Woman one, again, it's not really working. And I think they just continue to pair her with weird things. It was like Wonder Woman and the Penguin, Wonder Woman and Harley Quinn.
For me, if I'm writing, if in some world I'm writing a Wonder Woman story, Steve Trevor's not in the picture.
I agree.
He's a nice element to her like story and stuff, but I don't want him as a regular. He's gonzo.
I think I would rather have. I think I prefer the Wonder Woman stories where she's interacting in like man's world and is not like so beholden to the whole Amazon thing. But I just haven't read a good one in a while. So, but I'm keeping the faith because I love Wonder Woman.
Yeah. Well, I liked weirdly Brian Azzarello's Wonder Woman run for the New 52. That one I dug.
Oh right, yeah. So, that was its own thing, definitely. Yeah. Okay.
But it also made me miss like Vertigo. So.
Yeah. Well, that's all I read. That's it for me.
All right, I read the first volume of Karen Gillan's The Wicked and the Divine. So volume 1 is called The Fost Act. Oh, the first act. Ugh. I didn't realize that.
I don't know what this is.
The Wicked and Divine. It's Image comic. Am I right about that? I think everything I read. No, not Invincible. That's like its own thing, or is it Image? It is Image.
It's Image, yeah.
All right. What else did I read? Oh, the Bat. All right. So yeah, the Mark Miller one was a Image, and this is also Image. So I've just been reading a bunch of Image comics because I can get them from my local library.
That's fun.
And you kind of you take your chances trying to find Image comics on Comixology. Sometimes they have the full series. Sometimes they just have volume 1. So this is Karen Gillan. You didn't like his Uncanny X-Men that much.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, I didn't really.
I enjoyed his Uncanny X-Men a little bit. I enjoyed his Iron Man run. So this is... Who's the artist? Jamie McKeeva. No, McKelvey? I recognize that name, but I guess for no reason. So the idea of this is that the gods are constantly being reincarnated or as these people, and when a person finds out they're a god, they only have 2 years to live.
Okay.
The two of them worked together on a Young Avengers series that lasted like 11 issues, maybe 60. I don't know. It was like 2 volumes, which I enjoyed and introduced me to America. What's her like? What's the America? What's her name? Did you
America?
Didn't you read something with her? The Marvel character?
Oh.
Miss America. America Chavez. That's what... Anyway, their Young Avengers introduced me to that character.
Okay.
You read like the new Kids on the Block graphic novel or movie or something with your son that had like certain like younger characters in it. I'm sorry. The point is, they worked on the Young Avengers. Yeah, you find out you're a god for 2 years. All the gods are treated as kind of like maybe cult leaders, also kind of rock stars. They're kind of presented as rock stars. Like Lucifer's presented as kind of like a Bowie figure at one.
Okay.
I don't really get it after reading this first volume. It's only the first 5 issues. And I kind of was like, I've heard lots of things about this, and I like the concept. So I was going in, and I felt like I was missing something, because it follows, like, this girl who's, like, a huge fan of all these gods. It's like, the way a groupie would be with bands, she is for these gods, and she's just like, and then she starts following them and gets kind of, but I just couldn't understand why she was on this journey.
Okay.
I couldn't understand why they were just letting her see the behind the scenes stuff. I didn't understand why she was given the special access. So at that whole time I kept being like, I get everything else. What is she doing here? And anyway, I'm reading it now. I don't know. It's weird, and maybe it will get more. Maybe it will make more sense in the future. I've got volume 2 already. So that's it. The Wicked plus the Divine.
Okay.
Yeah. That's it. That's all I've read.
That's it for your reading?
Yeah, I was gonna read other stuff, and then I didn't.
All right. Well, I have a delightful little one to share on my quarter bin today. You ready for that action?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Are you doing Batman today?
No, I'm gonna pass out on my keyboard.
Okay.
Read a Batman comic, but don't read. My Batman thing today is saying don't read The Golden Child by Frank Miller. Spare yourself that crap.
Okay. All right, we'll count that. I'm going to tell you about the action-packed first issue of James Bond Jr.
Is he the nephew of you-know-who?
He sure is.
Then why is he named Junior?
Nephew.
Nephew. Yeah, he's your uncle.
The nephew.
I have a lot of uncles, don't I?
This is by T. Peterson and F. Moss. It's adapted by Cal Hamilton. The pencils are by Colin Fawcett. When we interviewed Mel Gilden for the 902 and Here We Go podcast, Mel wrote all of the novelizations for 90210. He also had an extensive career in TV writing. One of the things he wrote was James Bond Jr. scripts. And he was saying that he wrote for the series, and then they would adapt the episodes into the comic book. And so like his story was adapted into a comic book, and he didn't get any credit for it.
Huh.
So that's a bum rap.
Yeah. This is a Marvel series. Marvel published these.
Yeah. So I didn't think I was going to see any credits listed, but we even have like a credit for the adaptation here. So at least this one has a credit in it. Anyway, the beginning. We open on Warfield Academy, and one student is notably absent. Who do you think it is, Eric?
Who?
James Bond Jr.
Oh, he's so absent. You can't keep a good James Bond down.
And suddenly, Eric, what's that sound? What's that sound? I heard that. It's a flying Aston Martin with one passenger inside, James Bond Jr. You know what he says? Do you know what he says when he lands?
What?
He says, the name is Bond. James Bond Jr.
So, okay, it has been so long since I watched any of this. Mainly, like, since I've been a kid and was even forming memories and stuff.
Yeah. Yep.
Everybody knows he's James Bond Jr. Yeah. This isn't like a secret identity.
No.
So like he's at the kid's like, hey, I'm James Bond Jr. I got a flying car. I'm a secret agent. What's my math homework, Teach? Hey, what are you doing later, Teach?
You're exactly right.
Okay.
You're exactly right.
All
right. He is. He's of course she's chastised for being late, and he's pretty much grounded on campus. All right. Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh, you follow in your uncle's footsteps. Your uncle 007 James Bond, and it's about as clunky as that. While all this is happening, there's a shadowy figure who's watching the school. Wonder what he's up to. Back on campus, James meets, are you ready?
Yeah.
IQ. He's the grandson of, you guessed it, Q.
Mm-hmm.
Things go as you'd expect. Q's working on some things. James Bond's like, what's this do? And then he blows something up. Next, we meet Gordo Lighter. He's the son of James Bond's CIA friend.
Just thinking of like a high school Q, like going up to James Bond. It's like, it's a special calculator. And James Bond's like, you're right. It can spell boobies.
Yeah, that's exactly how the scene played out. Anyway, Gordo Lighter is a major bro. He's like surfing down the stairs. It's a whole thing.
Oh, okay. Felix Lighter.
Yeah.
Boy, they're really going for it.
They don't hold back. Next, we meet the headmaster's daughter, Tracy Willibanks. Now, this is not related to a different character, but Tracy is the name of James Bond's wife in On Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Oh, yeah.
But it's not meant to be the same character.
No. Well, I hope not.
Just a callback. Anyway, we meet a few other students who, weirdly enough, their aunts or uncles or parents or grandparents are not related to James Bond characters.
Right.
One of them you can tell is a narc, though. He's a real narc.
Right.
Outside of the school, you're going to love this. Scumlord, the shadowy figure from earlier, is explaining to Jaws. You remember Jaws from the James Bond film series?
Yes, and also the Steven Spielberg film.
Different. He's explaining to Jaws that he's after James Bond Jr.'s car because it contains this technology that Scum is wanting to get their hands on. Scum is an acronym, and I don't remember what it was. It's like scheming something.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. They send a note that James Bond has a package to pick up, hoping that he'll drive the car into town and get it off school grounds so they can do it. James Bond does exactly that. James Bond Jr., I should say. Mm-hmm. And he brings along IQ and Tracy. So Tracy's waiting in the car, and they go in to try to get this package, and it's all fake. It was just to get him off there. I know. And Jaws sees the car, and he comes over to steal it. Tracy sees him coming and hides in the car. Only Jaws drives away with Tracy in the back seat. The car is loaded onto a plane. Okay. And James Bond, IQ tracks the car, right? And so they get to the plane where it is, and James Bond gets on there, and there's a whole thing with James Bond Jr. and Jaws. Tracy and James Bond and Jr. end up locked in a trunk. Jr. uses one of his little gadgets to cut open the trunk, and they're going to fly the car out. But they can't do it. So Jaws comes out and goes to confront him, and James Bond Jr. turns on the car and just smashes into Jaws and crashes into the cockpit of this plane, which contains Jaws, Scumlord, and this part's very much not cool. Scumlord's little dog. That's not what you want. Anyway, the plane is going down. James Bond Jr. and Tracy parachute out, and the plane explodes. So you think Scumlord and the dog and Jaws die, but they didn't. In the next panel, you see them. The dog has his own parachute, so does Scumlord, but Jaws lands on a farm, and he lands in a big bale of hay.
Mm.
So they thwart this, and they have to hurry up and get back to campus. Well, Tattletale Kid is bringing the headmaster to James Bond Jr.'s room, and he opens the door, but guess what? James Bond Jr.'s there, being like, "Thanks for grounding me. I really learned my lesson." The end.
That James Bond Jr.
I know. Oh, but there is a tag. 007, the real James Bond, brings a brand new car for his nephew because the Aston Martin was destroyed.
Oh, and he never showed up in the show?
I don't think so.
I don't know. It's been so long. I remember James Bond Jr. and like Captain Super NES almost being like back to back.
Yeah.
So
I still have a VHS, and I have an action figure from that time, a James Bond Jr. Yeah.
Nice.
He's in all neon orange. It was a parachuting James Bond, and he even parachutes in this episode. So that's fun. All right. Well, that's it for me. What about you? You got to go sleepy time?
I don't care for that. No.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that's it. Yeah, that's all I have. So, did you enjoy this? I mean,
the James Bond Jr. comic?
Yeah.
No, not really.
Oh, okay.
I loved the show. I mean, I liked that comic when I was a kid.
Right.
I think that might have been one I just bought off the rack, like cover price.
Yeah. You're like, wait for my new favorite show?
Yeah, I was like, it's James Bond Jr. I love him. Come on, man. Yeah. You got it. Yeah.
All right, but only because he's James Bond Jr.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
So, but as an adult, it did it fill you with nostalgia?
Yes, it did fill me with nostalgia.
Okay, so it has that factor for you, but you didn't care for the story so much.
No.
Do you have any more of these in your collection?
That's the only one I have, actually.
Wow.
Yeah. Just that and an action figure and my memories.
So we gotta go on eBay and get you the whole James Bond Jr. comic book collection.
I think that would be appropriate, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it has been forever. I think I saw like the intro at one point where they're like, he's the nephew of you know who.
Yeah.
So, James Bond Jr. I remember one episode where like IQ gave him shoes that had spikes in them at the feet, but he's like running on logs at one point and he uses them and then he's like stuck on the logs. I'm like, well, that's stupid.
That's a bad yeah, well, he's Q's grandson. He's not Q. What do you expect? He's got a lot to learn about the family business.
Yeah. Yeah. And being
James
cool.
Junior.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
Okay.
Good
Comic
pick.
book coffee break.
Yeah, that was Comic Book Coffee Break. It's part of the Radio Meanwhile Network. You can find more about this show and like it at our network's website, radiomeanwhile.com, where you can find previous episodes. You can also find them at youtube.com/Dusk vs. Tweak, and that is because I am Dusk vs. Tweak online, otherwise known as Eric Mickles. And Nick?
Oh, yeah, well, I'm Nick Gunning. And on the Radio Meanwhile Network, I also co-host 90210 Here We Go. You can tune in to hear us awkwardly recreate an episode that we lost.
The Lost, finally a 90210 Lost episode.
Yeah, it's here for good.
Yeah. Was it even a special episode of the show?
No, it was pretty straightforward, but it was just, the conversation was fun. It'll be hard to regain that magic, but we can do it. We can do it.
All right, well then, until next time when I finish Invincible and probably read some more Mark Millar comics.
That's right.
Bye, everybody.
So long.